next speaker, he is the CEO of an electric car company. And what does this thing have to do with cars? I don't know, but I cannot wait to find out. This is a company that is launching a fully automated factory from a digital platform. Stick around and find out. Give it up for Lewis Horne. Oh, you snuck up behind me. Welcome, Lewis.
I did. Hello, my name's Lewis. Thank you very much. It's great to be here today in Berlin with so many like-minded people like yourselves. I think they're going to start a video here soon. Christopher? It's not there. Oh, here we go. It's starting. Yeah, it's great to be here in Berlin. Such a badass city. I'm here with a whole bunch of epic teammates from Sweden. And up there in Sweden, we are reinventing a piece of the world. A piece that really desperately needs to be thought through a whole nother time. I think there's definitely a lot of parts of the world that need to be thought through from the ground up. But the part of the world that we're focusing on is the electric car. Not just the car itself, the machine itself, but the way in which we go about building it and manufacturing it. Because, you know, there's a lot of inefficiencies and a lot of harm and problem that's caused with the current way of doing things. So it's just a matter of time before, you know, a group of people should band together and rethink it. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the car itself, but in short, we have optimized the machine for its Achilles heel, which of course is the battery. Not only should we make machines more energy efficient in the first place, but we should certainly consider that the problem that holds this thing back is the distance it can travel and the performance of the machine. But the machine can perform a whole lot better if the battery is not just there to carry the machine around, if we're not designing for the same old kind of car culture values, but designing for a new kind of values. Designing for things that people want today, like more processing power. So it's a very different machine. Other than that, you have a big computer in there, a augmented reality heads-up display, and electronic steering, and it's autonomous and stuff like that. But this discussion is more about how we go about building this machine in such a different way to how it's been done before. It is really, really fundamentally different. Does anybody here remember signing up their first email account? Put your hand up. Oh, great. My first email account, I think I was like 14 years old, and my email account was shock me with that deviant behavior at hotmail.com. I remember like buddies at high school are like, yeah, come on. We signed it up. You know, we thought it was there to kind of send stupid shit to each other, but after a while, you kind of realize that this digital world can achieve a whole lot more than just, you know, humor. This digital world can be used for a whole lot more. So then I have to make lewisjhorne@gmail.com, like everybody else went through that same thing. And now I see children, babies born in this world with an iPad in their hands, and they are surfing around on the iPad as if it's like second nature, as if they're literally born with it. It's called a digital native. And I'm looking at these kids thinking like, yeah, you're going to be 5. You're going to know your way around Python like it's second nature. You're probably going to know your way around a neural network like it's nothing by the time you're 12. And this is just a completely different beast than anything we've done before. So, as humans, we adopted this digital age really quickly. We all shifted over onto this digital thing. But as companies are really, it's a little bit more difficult for companies to switch over as quick, mainly because of the culture and different social things. So how we do this as a company starts entirely in a digital world. So we're not using the digital world to assist what we do or using it as a tool. That's the only context we have. In fact, we first put the vision out there, like I think 2 years ago or a year and a half, put this video out. We're going to do electric cars, and there's this very exciting, crazy thing. And from day one, people were saying to me, but where's your car? Where is it? I think they were kind of expecting to see the same car culture thing, like engineers and we're welding stuff and putting bolts on. You know, like the workshop with the steel car, the mechanical thing. But we were like a raggedy bunch of engineers, scruffy people in a shitty little dark basement somewhere in Sweden. We came a long way since then, now. But I guess it was very different. We're focusing on software and building electronics. This machine is a piece of electronics. It is not a car. And we're out there getting a lot of attention, trying to get the PR out in the world. You know, in the digital era, it's important to get attention. If you don't do that, you really don't exist. And the CEO of Siemens Nordic read something about us in a newspaper article. And next minute, give me a call. His assistant gave us a call, and he came down to visit. And came down to visit, and I showed him our last office. There's a lot of scruffy people like me walking around. I remember he said to one of our engineers, "You guys just look like you're having fun here." Imagine that kind of culture. But no big workshop, just an office space with a lot of electronics and a lot of software. And you know, showed him the autonomous driving robot platform and the heads-up display with augmented reality, and showed him all that stuff. And then we went to the kitchen, and he said, all right, how are you going to mass produce this thing? How on earth are you going to manufacture it? And I'm thinking, it's like Siemens guy, very conservative German company. I don't want him to think I'm a little crazy. So I give him the really conservative, safe approach. So, you know, we got these partners here and these partners there, all these companies that know how to build a car. And they're all, you know, they're experienced, they know what they're doing, this one here and that one there. We can do it offshore. We can do all this stuff. But I said, but we can't. There's so much of it that's completely different and completely new. We're creating all this new knowledge and a new way of doing it. And we've got to somehow install it in their heads, and we've got to deal with their belief systems and the assumptions that they have. So, but you know, we're going to get it done. We have many options. And he said, okay. How do you want to do it? Like, where do you want to do it? And I said, all right, call me naive here. We grab a whiteboard marker and a whiteboard pen. And I said, I think we can do it in Sweden. Labor cost is not such a problem if it's robots. I start drawing it on the board, and I say, look, we can have you know, fully automated mass-scale manufacture of composite materials using high-pressure resin transfer mold and a very simple 10-stage assembly line with very simple pre-assembled subsystems like a hub motor with integrated motor controller and integrated air cooling. Like, it doesn't have to be that hard. And I said, you know what, I've done the math here. We're only going to need 150 staff for 50,000 units. 3 shifts, 50 staff a day. And he said, Lewis, stop. He said, you're not even going to need to turn the lights on. You won't even need to turn the lights on in the building. I see what you guys are doing, but at Siemens we have this big software system called Siemens PLM, an entire end-to-end solution that allows you to develop the machine in this entirely digital world. And build it up, and it's just like seamless the whole way through to the automation stage. Build a virtual digital factory. We would actually be the first in the world to completely start fresh with a car in this system and maximize all of the benefits that we can have by not starting as car people with car culture values, but starting completely fresh. And the first car that digital factory creates in the real world is delivered to a customer. You don't even need to test it. Everything's done digitally. That's how perfected it is. We are going to test it in the real world, by the way. Don't worry about that. Digital does make mistakes sometimes. So we start entirely in this digital world, and what we create starts to take shape. It starts to become something that resembles something that we know. Both the machine itself and the automation itself, the machines that create the car. Because when we as a team look at the work done by the big car companies, it really is kind of terrifying. No, we don't think we can pull that off. It's incredibly complicated, a very, very impressive achievement at scale. Not something that we even want to have a go at. But approaching it from a completely different angle, starting afresh, starting with the great disadvantage of no experience, trying to keep that out of the company until the time is right, also can be a great advantage. When the Siemens executives come to train us, they train me and the rest of the guys. We did a brand alignment thing, so we're in bed with them. Anyway, I'm required to say this. So the same guys that did the automation at the Tesla Gigafactory, they come over and teach us how to do it all. And they're going through these slides, and they say on there, one slide it says, 50% of companies that attempt to digitize fail. Not at digitization, the company fails. And they said, do you know why? And I'm sitting there, the scruffy, shitty, hippie kind of social, cultural guy. And I almost fell off my seat when the Siemens guy in a suit switches the slide and it says culture. Culture is the thing that stops us from starting digital, building up into this real world long before, in the digital world, long before it springs to life in the real world. So in the way we do it, we don't know how to make robots work. We don't know how to carve a car out of clay, but we can make a robot do it. And when you approach it from this angle, the robot, we're not using this physical world with the tools of the digital world to help. We don't know how to do that. The physical world is merely a direct representation, a manifestation of the digital world. This thing here is just a representation of that. It's a completely different world that's highly flexible and obviously highly scalable, because we don't have to involve the terribly difficult organization task of including humans in the process. Including humans in the process of manufacturing something at scale in a repetitive manner is a pretty tricky complication, because humans, I don't think humans are really suited to that kind of task. And we do have, obviously, a lot of people and journalists and stuff like that say to me, like, but you're not creating factory jobs. Aren't you creating jobs? That's important for us. Create jobs of the future. Create jobs for now. And I just feel like I don't want to create the same shitty jobs that I had to do. I mean, this year we create a couple hundred jobs already. Next year, a couple of thousand jobs. But they're not the same menial, shitty jobs that value human life so little. The kind of dangerous, difficult jobs that I had to do. Humans are designed to be, humans should be creative. They should be inspired. If they're not inspired, they just get tired. Robots don't get tired. They don't fall asleep and they're not late. Except now this looks like it's gotten tired. Hello. I think this is falling asleep now. There you go. Is this working, Sanchez? Hello. Eva. Wake up. Hello. Oh, hello. Oh, hi. Sorry, I woke you up. Jeez, all right, whatever. I didn't realize you were asleep. Is my speech boring you? Or? Oh, okay, thank you. I thought it might have been getting a little boring. But that's good. Obviously, after we get past the stage where robots are just executing on the commands from the digital world as slaves, they get to a stage where they start to make their own decisions. Stage where they can perceive the world and sense the world in a different way. You're not perceiving me now, though, right? No. No, 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 no. You're sensing me. You don't perceive me. Perception is reality, Eva. You don't perceive me, dear. The day that this thing can perceive itself, though, is the day you do not want to have a laser on the head, right? Do not put a laser on your head. No, 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 no. Not on that day. This day will come when these robots can perceive the world in a different way, understand the world. It's an exciting change. As I said, 50% of companies that try to digitize fail because of the cultural problem. If we can start afresh with our culture as a digital native, as a company, whilst we do have incredibly big disadvantages relative to a big car company, we also have advantages, huge advantages that we need to maximize as best we can. There is this quote that I like, Eva. It's a quote from Charles Darwin. I don't exactly remember how it goes, but it's something like, it is not the fittest of species that survives. It's not the smartest of species that survives. It is the species most adaptable to change. Right? You agree? Or you disagree? All right. That worked out fine then. The species most adaptable to change. It is a very, very exciting time we live in. It's epic to be part of this huge change. It is a terrifying journey, but it's really exciting one to be on. I'm probably running out of time now. The timer didn't start. It just says 24. Before I go, I wanted to give a little advice to any startups out there that might be watching. I know this event is about startups teaming up with companies. And I know when you meet a company and you really want to get it done, you really want to team up, not all companies will understand the advantages that you have. They will not understand the different culture. They will not understand, not all of them will understand the different perception of time and money that a new, fresh, digital native startup has. If you sense doubt in their voice or you sense that they're not suited to start up, kick them to the curb. That is my advice. Wait for them companies that understand the advantages you have and want to help you maximize them as far as you can. On behalf of the team, anybody else out there that's fighting for something, we salute you. And I know that Steve Wozniak is here, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for building the first Apple computer with your bare hands. What a mighty seed that was. Thank you. I'm going to say goodbye now.
Oh, well, you ran off. Come back. I think we were going to have a couple questions. Do you guys have a question? Come back, Lewis. You're not getting off that easy. Who has a question for Lewis Horne? Nobody? Your presentation was so complete that you have satisfied everyone's curiosity. Let's give people a second. Any questions for Lewis Horne about this fascinating contraption?
Eva, it has a name.
Eva.
She has a name, yes.
I'm sorry, Eva. I didn't mean to disrespect you.
Eva from Creo Robotics. She can be a little bitchy if you don't use her first name. So
I will ask a question about
fair.
Eva. How exactly did you get Eva here with you today? How difficult is this to transport?
Well, Creo Robotics organized it for us. So they help us out with a lot of robotic stuff. And, you know, they influence us in ways that help us to mature and also help us with our epic tech. So they just give us these to play with. And we didn't transport it here. That's from the Creo Robotics in Berlin.
Ah, okay.
Florian
so you pushed
delivered
the work off to someone else. Good job, Florian. And good job, Lewis Horne. Thank you for your presentation. We do appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you.